So
Yeah.
I would love for you to share these 5 steps that you share with your people that follow you, that are dealing with anxiety and that are searching for the tools to manage it, overcome it, not control it.
Okay. Yeah, of course. So the first step, and that's a step that is essential for anything in your life, for everything, which is acceptance. You need to accept that there's something that you need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
And, the first thing that comes to our minds when we're going either through a panic attack or when they give us, that diagnosis, like you have a mental illness, it's like, no, this is not happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
This is not happening to me. This is not happening to me. And then we can be very, I guess, discouraged in our path into trying to get better, because, and I'm talking from experience,
Mm-hmm.
you want to come and talk to somebody and maybe get advice.
Mm-hmm.
And if they haven't gone through it, it's very unlikely that they'll understand you. Mm-hmm. And so, I had a lot of, like, you just have to tell yourself that you're not going through that, and that you have to be strong, and,
Mm-hmm.
like, keep telling yourself, I don't have anxiety, and you'll be fine,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're like, in your head, you're like, but I'm not, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not fine. But you don't want to look weak.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to look that you're weak-minded. So you kind of start to pretend,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of start to be like, oh, okay, yeah. Okay. And so we're like, okay, I have to be strong, and I don't think this is about being weak or strong.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be more about, like, understanding that it's okay to not be okay sometimes. You're not always going to have it all, like,
Mm-hmm.
put together. We're not always going to be at our best. We're not always going to be at 100% happiness. We're not always going to feel calm and relaxed. It's life. Life just takes us up and down. And I mean, it just happens that we are dealing with anxiety. We are dealing with panic disorder. Other people are dealing with other things,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you got. Anxiety, depression, whatever the problem is. And, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. And I'm going to figure this out. And even if there's times where I'm not feeling at my best, it's okay, because I'm on my path to feeling better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing, like, acceptance, right? And then the next thing is to grow self-awareness, like getting in touch with your feelings, getting in touch with your soul. Again, we get so, I'm supposed to feel like this, and I'm supposed to act this way. And we're so, like, social media and, like, social media is a big thing. Like, you
Big
see
one.
everybody being perfect. And so you think that you have to be perfect, but you don't know what's behind the scenes. You don't know what their life is like. You don't know their struggles, and so you think that you have to be put together all the time. And then if one day you don't achieve that, you think you are a failure. Mm-hmm. And so you just give up completely. And the thing is that everybody has those struggles as well, like, I used to feel like that because I've been trying social media for years. And at the beginning, those little pools of, like, depression and hiding in my room and not wanting to talk to anybody and, like, being so depressed, and I wouldn't show up, and I wouldn't answer calls, and I wouldn't answer emails, and I would think I'm such a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I even doing this? I should just quit. And I would quit, and then happiness would come back, and I'll be feeling great again, and I'll be like, okay, I'm good, let me start over. And then it would happen again, and I would give up all the time, and I would give up on me, you know, as a person. Um, so, you know, no, growing self-awareness will let you get in touch with knowing when you're okay and when you're not okay. We neglect ourselves, you know, we're like, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. But also figuring out what we truly want in life and what we truly, truly love doing. I know that anxiety can cause for us to hide, but then hiding just makes it worse,
Yeah.
you know? So we need to put ourselves out there. We need to go out to the beach and like take walks alone and like diving, I don't know, naked if you want. I don't know, like whatever freaking makes you happy. Like,
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I come from a Christian family, and you know, it was always like everything was a taboo. Everything was a sin. Like dancing was a sin. We were so like in a shell, and like everything outside of that was a sin. And so I mean, dancing makes me happy, but I couldn't do that when I was younger because it was a sin. And then I started, you know, growing up, and when I was going through all this like self-discovering and, you know, growing self-awareness, I was like, there's nothing wrong with dancing and it makes me happy. Like, I'm just gonna do it. Like, I started figuring out my beliefs, you know, and I know that God still loves me no matter what. Just like having that spirit of like doing whatever the hell you want to do or whatever the hell you feel like doing, you know, because that anxiety to me is just like energy. It's just energy, and there's no focus. And so our little wires in our head, they're like, you know,
Crashing,
like,
yeah.
yeah, they're crashing. They have no direction because they're so, we as human beings, we have so much in us. We have so much potential, power. I mean, we're all connected. I feel like we're all connected in a way. And when we have desires and we have goals and we have dreams, and we don't do anything to try to achieve them, you know, that's when anxiety comes, and it, because there's so much in there, you know, and our brains want to work more. That's how I see it. Like, our brains just want to do more, and we're like, no. Like,
that's so powerful. That is such a powerful discovery for me now. I totally get it. I totally understand what you mean. Like, by having so much energy, and if we don't have a creative outlet, it just piles up, and soon it becomes too much. It just piles up. Like, I notice for me, jogging is the best therapy. Like, my boyfriend, if he sees me like being like a bit weird, like not in moody or something, he just asks me like, when did you jog the last time? Like, and I'm like, you have a point there. Like, I should totally do that, because getting that energy out and just triggering those endorphins that make me happy and relaxed, like, that's my outlet. You know, having this conversation is my outlet. I feel better when I do them. And yeah, it's so powerful that you said, like, it doesn't have to be big. Just find your few things, that the little things make all the difference, where you just kind of pour your energy out.
And the thing is, I believe that the universe doesn't like empty space. If you can like just think about this, there's no like, everything is filled, you know, air, oxygen, like even like this from here to here, this isn't empty. There's oxygen in there. And so, you know, when we have an empty vessel or an empty, you know, pathway, like the universe is gonna want to come and like fill it up, you know. And so when we're not feeding our souls with, you know, the positive things that we want, I mean, that's how I see it. Like, the world and life is just gonna throw stuff in there, and like, you're not even gonna know how to manage it. Like, you need to fill yourself with the positive things that you love and that you like.
Yeah. So that's step 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's step 2. I get carried away, you know.
No, we both got carried away, so I had to remind myself. So that's step 2, right? Okay. So
Yeah.
step
Okay, I
2,
didn't think
yeah.
so. And then step number 3 is to just launch yourself. Just get up and do it. Nothing is going to fall on your lap. I used to think that, okay, well, I got anxiety and this is how I'm going to live my life. And I kind of use the self-pity card. You know, I felt sorry for myself and I wanted people to feel sorry for myself. I mean, for me. And I wanted people to understand me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the thing is that I was only harming myself, you know, because I was like protecting myself, right? And like I was using this shield of like, oh, I have anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I can't do that because I have anxiety. And we start avoiding anxiety.
Use it as an excuse for something else.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, you can't avoid anxiety. Like you have to freaking overcome it. That's the way to put anxiety to the side. You have to overcome it and you have to beat it.
Yeah.
Um, so you have to put action in it. Like there's no way that you can just sit around and expect for happiness or for the feeling good, you know, vibes to just come and be like, okay. And I know, like I know anxiety because I've lived with anxiety and I know that there's good days and there's bad days. That's why self-awareness is very important. You need to start, you know, growing and you just need to start focusing on the things that you want, on the things that you really like. When I started noticing that my anxiety was like on a lower level was when I started being a health coach. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
started helping people losing weight. I was losing weight. And, you know, like all my energy was like focused and I wasn't even thinking. It was kind of like I was kind of replacing all that anxiety with new stuff, with new
Mm-hmm.
habits instead of laying around all day because I felt anxious. I was like, I felt motivated. I
Mm-hmm.
truly don't believe that laziness is a real thing. And people call me crazy for this. But have you ever heard the term where they say that darkness isn't real? Like darkness doesn't exist. It's just the lack
Of
of
light. Yeah.
light. Yeah. So laziness is just the lack of motivation.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah. The perfect example is you can see someone laying on the couch all day. And as soon as you say something that triggers them, they are full of energy. They are jumping off of that couch.
Exactly.
And if you're seeing someone just being lazy all day, it's just because they haven't figured out something they would like to do. So
Hmm.
they don't have anything better to do than just lay there. So it's
Yeah.
just like you said, yeah, lack of motivation, definitely.
And you know, that's what I was doing with my life. Like I was just there all day in my room, locked up, watching Netflix and eating. And sometimes I would eat and sometimes I wouldn't eat. And even not showering. Like there were days where I wouldn't shower at all. And you know, the day when I decided, I was like, okay, like I need to start doing something because
Mm-hmm.
I feel terrible. And my sister was talking about how she had joined a team and she was going to work out and you know she was like really excited and I saw this happiness within her and I was like, I want to feel like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I want to feel like her. So I was like, can I go? And she had actually been inviting me, you know, for some amount of time and I kept on saying like, I don't have time, I don't have money, you know,
Mm-hmm.
excuses.
I'm dealing with anxiety, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so busy watching Netflix. So and so I you know, I saw that in her and she
Mhm.
translated that happiness So I was like, I want that. And so the day that I decided to go, I couldn't pass the comb through my hair because it was so tangled up from I don't know how many weeks I hadn't brushed my hair.
Mm-hmm.
It was that bad. And I remember I just put it up in a ponytail and I put a cap on, and I was like, I'm going to work out anyway, you know, and I went there, and I mean, I started, you know, having new experiences and talking to new people, and you know, it started making me feel happy.
Mm.
And the thing, and I'm gonna kind of like I don't know, wander off a little bit, but sometimes we say, oh, I have anxiety to go to the gym because I have social anxiety, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that social anxiety, everything comes from experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Everything comes from old past experiences. And so we attach memories to feelings, right? So if, I don't know, you once went to the gym and somebody made an ugly face to
Mm-hmm.
you, or you just felt like everybody was looking at you or whatever, you're like, I hate working out. I hate working out. You don't
Mm-hmm.
hate working out. Working out is not a bad experience,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But you attach that bad feeling to working out because of that experience, that bad experience that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way to rewire your mind is to create a new experience with a good feeling, you know? And
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it's scary, but you just have to do it. You have to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
I that's how I felt. Like I didn't want to go to a gym because I felt like people would look at me. And then you see all these memes. I mean, like I said, social media is horrible. Like I've seen this meme where they're like somebody who's overweight trying to work out, and then they put a funny meme and, you know, like making fun of that person, you know, like,
Mm.
and so I'm like, that's what they're going to think of me, you know? And so when I went to this new place and it was all girls and everybody was like cheery and happy and, you know, like welcoming me, you know, I felt very good. And I was like, okay, I can do this, you know, I can do this. And so I started attaching a good feeling with working
Yeah.
out, you know, and making working out a great experience. And so that's the way that you create those new habits,
Yeah.
because our brains, that's how they work. They attach feelings to experiences, to memories, and they like habits because habits are effortlessly done, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our brain kind of wants to waste as least energy as possible.
Yeah.
So we, you know, the way that we create new habits is by doing that, by, okay, you know, working out, I feel like it's something bad, let me find a fun way.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you don't need to have like an intense working out session
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna feel horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna
That's not gonna be a good habit that
it's
you're
not
creating. Like,
exactly, you're gonna be like, this is horrible, like,
suffering, you know.
yes, everything hurts. And
Mm-hmm.
like I felt like I was gonna faint and I was about to throw up. This is a horrible experience. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why you need to start like little by little, you know, go to the park and like go run with, if you have family, like go with your family, have a little picnic and do some, I don't know, like play some games, some sports, whatever. Like start attaching like physical activities with
Fun.
happy
Yeah.
and, you know, great experiences. I just wanted to kind of put that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, when it comes to fear, like 99% of the time it doesn't even become a reality. The
Yep.
things that you're afraid of, they don't really become a reality. We were in step number 3, right?
Yeah.
About yourself. Step number 4 is just to kind of repeating it like every single day,
Consistency.
repeating it. I actually just did a master class and on my Facebook group, and it's called Repeat. And I talk just about that, like how to create new habits. And sometimes it's so hard for us because if we fail,
Mm-hmm.
then we feel like we are a failure, and so we
Mm-hmm.
just quit, and when you see someone that looks super happy, they're not naturally like that the entire time.
Yep.
They must feed that. I have a friend, and she's always like very bubbly and like a little bit like me, but a little bit worse. But she's like happy, and a lot of people go up to her and they're like, "Hi, how can you be so happy all the time? Like, how can, like, do you just wake up like that every day?" And she's like, "No, girlfriend, like every day I have to get myself into that mood.
Mm-hmm.
I have to work into it. There's some days when I wake up and I'm like, oh, I hate life."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, that's when awareness and, figuring out what makes you feel good, taking those 5-10 minutes in the morning to
Yeah.
figure yourself out. That's why meditation is so important. To me, prayer is very important. Journaling, it's very important. And there's so many methods out there. Tapping is one of my favorites. Just figuring yourself out, and more than anything, being true to yourself. And step number 5 is to have self-compassion.
Yeah. To
To
not be so hard on yourself.
not
Like,
be so hard on yourself, because the world is already very hard on us,
mm-hmm.
and life is already hard sometimes. And so, have self-compassion. You're a human being, and you're gonna fail a lot of times, and it's okay. It's okay to not be okay. What's not okay is to stay there, and to think that this is the life that I got. This is what I have to live with. Like, no, be compassionate with yourself, and say like, okay, I screwed up, or whatever you want to feel like, and start all over again.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that I just want to add to this 5-step is that I found out works really well for me is just like not giving myself hard time, but just trying to get myself into a state of mind. Like, this is the first time my boyfriend shared it with me. He was just like, okay, so what would you tell the person who's going through the same thing as you? What would you advise them? Because we tend to be really compassionate and kind to others,
Yeah.
sometimes even more than to ourselves, because we think like, yeah, I love that person, I love myself too, but I have to have these standards and do, and we immediately go into that, just like, you just go into that hard hand where you're just like, you suck, and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas we wouldn't say that to another person that we love any
Yeah.
day. We wouldn't say that. And this is something I started to use. Like, when my boyfriend first pointed this out, I started using it because it really does help me. So if I have like a trouble, if I am like failing myself on something, I just tend to journal, write the problem, and just act as if I'm giving an advice to a beloved friend, and
Yeah.
then just trying to read that advice back to myself and be like, it's all good, like, you can start over. Like, we tend to be so much encouraging and supporting and loving and kind to others, but we forget to be that with ourselves. So
Yes.
if we just turn the tables a bit, like we're giving an advice to a friend, but it's actually for us, like, that really helps me out with trying to be compassionate towards myself. Sometimes that's something I use, which is really helping me out.
Yeah. And I mean, I still like need to remind myself as well to do that. I I was having a conversation with one of my clients. We were on a call, on a session, And I'm not gonna, talk anything personal about her, but she was telling me something that, it was kind of like she was kind of feeling bad about. And I was there just like being so like kind to her and making her
Mm-hmm.
feel like, hey, it's okay, like giving her all these, things. And I at home was going through something personal, in my marriage. And at that time I was feeling like so bummed, and I was feeling so like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I'm giving advice and I'm not even taking it for myself, like even that, like being so harsh on myself, saying I'm such a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling myself, Itzel, you're such a fraud because you're giving this advice to a client and you're not even taking it for
Yeah.
yourself. And so I kind of had to like remind myself to be compassionate, towards myself and be like, it's okay. You're human too. And you're having these feelings, and okay, we're going to work through these. And so, like I said, it's something that you have to just keep reminding yourself
Mm-hmm.
every single day. You know, it's not something, there are a lot of aha moments, where you're like, oh, I get it now, but when it comes to like life changing, like nothing just happens from one moment to the other. Even on those aha moments, like, oh, I get it now,
Mm-hmm.
you have to feed on that.
Yeah.
You really have to feed that mentality and that feeling. Because I've had aha moments for a long time, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, and I'm gonna do this,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2-3 days later or a week later, I'm like completely broken. And like,
Mm-hmm.
um, we have to feed. It's like a plant.
Oh,
You know?
I was thinking that. I was
Yeah.
just thinking that because I'm looking at my bonsai here and I'm like, it's like a plant. Like if you water it once, plant a seed, you plant a seed of an awareness and it starts to grow. But if you don't do it every, I don't know how many days, and depends. Like if you don't water it consistently, it will just die off. And it doesn't matter if you just once planted a seed, it's gonna die off. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like count if you just plant it and just leave it there. You have to take
Yeah.
care of it, and just every day almost like just taking care of it, checking it out. Is it gonna die or is it gonna live, So
Yeah. If
yeah.
you abandon it, like, it's not gonna live long.
Mm.
And it also doesn't have to be hard. It
Mm.
does not have to be hard.
No.
Maybe at the beginning you can feel like it's hard because it's something new to your brain and it's something
Mm.
that you're not used to.
Mhm.
And but it's like everything. Our brains love repetition.
Mm. They do. They
Love
do.
repetition. So, when you start doing something every day and it feels good, like it has to feel good.
Mhm.
If you're, it's like we go back to that working out example, like if you're having such a hard time working out because you're doing a high intensity workout when you've never in your life worked out before, you're going to hate it. And your
Yeah.
brain's going to be like, hell no, So you need to start. I do believe in like taking chances and like doing drastic things, but they have to feel good
Mhm.
in order for them to work.
Mhm.
I mean, if you try to meditate and then I know that meditation is not for everybody.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't really teach. I teach more of mindset.
Mhm.
I don't really, I do, share techniques, but I don't teach techniques,
Mhm.
because techniques are not for everybody.
Mhm. And
And so,
there are different techniques as well. Like meditation is not how you do it, but it's a state of mind that you have. So
mhm,
if that peace and that inner comfort that is calm, if
yeah,
that comes from jogging, coloring, chilling down, reading a book, like sometimes it's like sitting in peace and just meditating. Meditation it has different forms for everyone. Like I've heard so many athletes say that their form of meditation is doing that activity. So it doesn't have to be you sitting in silence and just be like, like it definitely helps if you can manage that, but it's not only that. Like it comes in different forms. For me, also it comes from jogging and from going with my dogs to the woods. That's like where I kind of plug out and plug in at the same time, you know. So yeah, even meditation has different forms. So it doesn't have to be just like, because I know how I made myself feel wrong when I started meditating. I couldn't sit still, and I just had these crazy thoughts. I couldn't and I had this expectation how it should look like. And when I didn't achieve it, when I didn't do that, I felt terrible. Like, oh my God, like I can't meditate. But at the same time, I knew how it, yeah, I knew how it should feel, and I felt that doing other things. So I didn't make myself feel wrong for the form that it came for, but I just kind of went for that feeling of calm.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like I said, it's all about like releasing control. You know, I used to think that I had to clear out my mind completely. And if I didn't do that, and I never did that, like there's no freaking possible way you could ever clear your mind. You know, thoughts are always going to be there. It's about releasing, you know, trying to control. Like for me, singing works tons more than meditation. Like I'll just put music on, and I'll put like I'll literally put like karaoke, whatever. And I'll have like a karaoke party for myself, and I'll just start like singing and like just like singing. And yes, a lot of thoughts come into my head, but I'm not trying to control them. I'm not trying to figure them out. I'm not trying to solve them. You know, it's just about like whatever, you know, having that whatever moment. I'm singing and I'm having fun. So it definitely does not have to be hard, and it just has to be something that feels effortlessly for you.
Yeah, finding that thing that works for you. There is no right or wrong way to do it. Like some people listen to audio, some have their moment of serenity when they're reading, and it comes in different forms. So, you know, I always look up to people who are older, not from this generation, that don't know what necessarily meditation is. Like, it's not that older people don't know what meditation is, just that I see it in my life, how my dad and my mom, they never went into the spiritual personal growth route. And at the same time, I'm looking at them and I'm observing them. So how do they keep calm? You know? And it's not meditation. I never see them meditate. Like even if I speak about meditation, they're looking at me like, are you just sitting there? Like what's that? You know? Like who does that? Like, you know, they don't grasp the importance of it, but at the same time I know they had to have their own filter to put their energy out. So I observe them and I see that they have their little things that they do that make them feel great. So for example, my mom enjoys her time with my little brother. She just loves it. She just, you know, she's like she gave birth to my little brother when she was 38. You know, I was 12 years old when I found out I'm getting a little brother. So, you know, for her, it has been this, she just gained this youth back again, because now she has someone to just play with, you know, he just brought that playfulness out of her. So I see how even having a child at her late age, like for some late age, that's considered pretty, like not necessarily the ideal age when you give birth, you know, it comes with a lot of complications, but thank God they're both healthy. But I see it in my mom, how when she plays with my little brother, when they go out and play soccer, and when she became like this soccer mom at her 40s, you know, so
Wow.
so that makes her feel great, you know.
Yeah.
And my dad is kind of developing this side business that he has, so that's giving him comfort where he can feel confident and where he finds peace, you know, just trying to, it's not a necessary struggle because I've seen how much he has sacrificed for it, but at the same time he never complained about it. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
his outlet, it's something that he enjoys, and he goes and checks it out. And if he doesn't have anything to do at home, he just goes and checks out the business, you know. He's just like wandering and just looking at it and just, you know, feeling great. So I notice how even they have these little things that make them feel great, and
Yeah.
it can be in totally different form than just sitting and meditating and hum all the day, you know.
Yeah,
So
totally.
yeah, it comes in different forms, absolutely. So yeah, I think we went over 5 steps now.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add?
um, no, just that I don't even know if I said it like on the right order.
You
They're
did,
just
you did, don't worry.
okay,
Yeah.
awesome. They're just my 5 steps, and
Yeah.
I'm very like just free flowing, you know. And uh, something that I would love to add is that um, even God gave us, you know, free will,
Mm-hmm.
and He won't even mess with it, you know. So we have the power of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, we have the power of choosing and deciding how we want to live our life.
Yeah.
And if, you know, you're struggling with anxiety, with depression, with whatever you're struggling with, you know, you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
You can totally change it, you know. And maybe the doctor said you can't get rid of it. Okay, I won't get rid of it, and it's there, but I'm not going to let it control me, and I'm not going to let it stop me from living my best life.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a few years back, I thought it was impossible for me, you know. And now that I see myself, I'm like, wow, you know. And I'm amazed about how just decision followed by action, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's really it, you know. um I truly believe that we can design and create our lives.
Yeah.
Design it, you know, put it on paper if you want. Design it and create it. It's possible. And I mean, if you really, I, like I said, you know, God gave us that free will. And if He gave us the capacity to dream and to have those, you know, that wanting to do something, and just wanting to be better, and having all these goals, I mean, He obviously gave us the capacity to achieve them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we go on to our last question, I would just like for you to share where people can find you if they want to follow you, learn from you, be inspired by you.
hmm Well, you can find me as Itzel Cuch everywhere. ITZELCUCH in Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. I have a YouTube channel as well.
Mhm.
I am about to launch my webpage, and it's also itzelcuch.com. And I don't know when this video is going to go up, but maybe by the time it's already going to be up there. And also, I'm going to be starting a podcast soon as well.
Mhm.
So hopefully, you know, by the time this video goes up, because I'm already working on it, maybe there'll be like 1 or 2 episodes up there as well. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you know, in whatever way I can help, I'm always open, you know, to help out.
Okay, super. Thank you. So I'm gonna ask you the last question, the one that we're gonna close down this, and in your life at this moment, what do you know for sure, for 100%, that for you is your truth at this moment?
My truth in this moment, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm sorry for my French.
I love it.
But it just came from my soul, you know. I truly can do whatever I want. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, as long as you're not hurting yourself, I think we all have the right to live the life that we desire.
Okay. So thank you for being here today. I appreciate you taking your time. I know it's really late for you. I know it's really early for me, so we made this work.
Yes.
I truly want to express my gratitude for you to come here, to choose to meet up with me in the first place, not knowing me, and to do this and share your wisdom on my channel. So thank you. And everyone, if you like this kind of videos, please subscribe and check them out more times. So Itzel, bye for now. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.